and we're here to celebrate a wonderful artist at Creative Hearts Co. And some of you have travelled very far to join us today, so really appreciate you making the travels and coming this way. And at Creative Hearts, we do love to celebrate local artists, artists that have travelled from sometimes the Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast out this way, and who knows, it could also be international as well. But tonight, our beautiful feature artist, Rhiannon Hetherington, is here on a big mission, and only a few samples of her pieces are on display this evening. So at Creative Hearts, we love to share stories through art, through creativity, and when I found Rhiannon actually through the beautiful Michelle who tagged me in Rhiannon's work. Rhiannon, I think at the start of the year, she was like, I'm looking for stories of women from struggle to strength, and send me your stories and I'm going to paint you. I'm going to paint you in massive portrait. And Michelle was like, Marie, you guys are connected with different artists. Maybe you, and Michelle also knew my story after a women's circle event, and she tagged me in Rhiannon's amazing art. And I was like, oh, why not? I'm going to share my story too. And she has just been a phenomenal painter. She paints very fast and paints very big, as you can see. And she's painted 30 women in her exhibition, and there's more which we're going to share shortly too as well. But she just had the guts to go, you know what, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to hire out the John Reed Pavilion at the RMH Showgrounds, which is a very big pavilion if you've been there, and just exhibit all of these beautiful works. But let's welcome Rhiannon to the stage, and I'll do more formal intros soon. Come and grab a seat.
Oh, thanks.
We thought we'd go a little bit casual this evening with some seats out the front and sharing some stories. And I just thought I'd do a proper bio because this woman is amazing. So Rhiannon is a contemporary portrait figurative artist. She uses I'm lost for words. What's the word I'm looking for, Wei? Mixed media, that's the word I'm looking for. All the M words. Mixed media artist as well, whose work explores the emotional landscapes of women's lives, her visual language forged from vulnerability, resilience and transformation. Operating under her creative alias, RMH ART, she creates with bold brushstrokes and layered textures to invoke inner dialogue, healing and strength. Her upcoming solo exhibition, If She Spoke From Struggle to Strength, presents 30 large-scale works intimately paired with real women's stories of adversity and reclamation, shining a light on mental health and the power of speaking truth. As the feature artist for Creative Hearts Co. in the Perspectives of Life exhibition, her work amplifies voices around mental health, turning silence into conversation, pain into beauty, and struggle into strength. Can we give her another big round of applause? And so if you haven't yet had a chance to read in either the beautiful clipboard there with all the artists here on display, but there's also some more stories here on display if you want to read a little bit more. But Rhiannon, you're our star tonight. RMH Art, all of these big beautiful works, what got you started in the art world and creativity and storytelling? How did you begin?
Hello? Yeah. I just wanted to check. So I started painting when I had met my first girlfriend, and she was into art, and I started painting and I was obsessed and never stopped. And storytelling has been something that has become more of a powerful thing, an important thing to myself as my journey as a woman and as a person has continued, and the things that I have overcome has grown. So that's become very important to me, and the more I've gone through things, the more I look around and realize that there's so many women around me and people as well that go through so much, and it's normally so quiet, and they do it without a pat on the back, without being heard sometimes, and without support. So I wanted to shine a light on the women that were like me.
Beautiful. And October is Mental Health Month, and all of the stories in here have either something really inspirational or something really confronting. And I know that in our podcast that we recorded last week or the week before, we were talking about these taboo subjects around mental health. And there's been a number of stories that have just melted your heart, made you cry. And I know your story, when you shared it with me and you've shared it with people that have asked you, have been really inspired. So I'd love for you, if you feel comfortable, to share, you know, I suppose your own mental health journey that inspired you to then create this exhibition.
Yeah. So I guess something that I kind of want to start with my journey was that, like, I felt like I was on a good path. I studied a lot in school, and you know, I did the right thing, and I had plans, and I was working towards those plans. I was going to uni and working hard and doing all these things, and unfortunately, like so many other people, sometimes things are out of our control and things just happen. And yeah, my mental health started playing up, and I didn't know that it wasn't normal and that something wasn't right, because I'd also grown up in a household with a single mum who had also struggled with her mental health. So to me, it was normal, and so I just couldn't understand why I struggled so much. So I dropped out of uni. I was stripping for 3.5 years around Australia and New Zealand, and just going deeper and deeper into a hole, and just I felt so alone in my struggles. So I went from that, and I've had a bit of a colourful life, and yeah, my struggles sort of, you know, as many other people's, like, compound, like different things happened. I was raped, and I went through a relationship which was very mentally and emotionally controlling. I had kids and didn't have anyone to help me with them, like so many other women. So my mental health really took a dive over the years, and yeah, I would drop my kids off to daycare, and I would sit in the driveway, and we were 2 houses from the highway, and I would just sit there and watch the trucks, and I just, yeah, it was getting to the point where I was like, seriously, I was scared of myself, because it was just getting too much, and I couldn't handle it anymore. And so obviously I have kids, and I would never want to inflict that kind of pain on them. Also, my dad died when I was younger, I forgot that bit. So that was also very hard. So yeah, I ended up going and getting help. Turns out I have bipolar type 2 and CPTSD from different things that I've gone through over the years. So once I went and got helped, it started giving me back my power in my life. Medication changed my life. And I don't think that's talked about enough. Like, there's a lot of stigma around medication, and that it's shameful and whatnot like that. But it is like glasses for the brain. And if something helps turn your life around, then there's nothing shameful about that. So yeah, I started to turn my life around, and once I was starting to feel better, and I was like, I did it. Like, I come out on the other side. You know, all these years of struggling and not understanding and feeling so alone and whatnot, I had gone and got the help, and then all I could think was about all the women that were around me in so many different journeys and what they've gone through, and I just wanted to share that. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think to just be courageous and vulnerable to even speak some of those words in a space like this is just a true testament to your courage, and sharing the stories of these women who, like you or me, have gone through some really tough times, and we have all gone through really tough times. And when we get a chance to share that, whether it's through art, whether it's through speaking, whether it's through writing, or just telling someone, if you haven't had that chance to even speak it, I think is really, really powerful. And these beautiful women just on the wall and here as well. Rhiannon, we had a chat this afternoon, and I know that even just sharing their stories and even today going through some of the things like self-doubt, like, is my work really good enough? Is it worthy? Is it something that people actually care about? Things that's just even presently that, you know, we're all going through. And I know you were like just a few moments ago, like, Marie, but it's true, we all...
Supposed to keep that on the down low.
But we were talking about this on our podcast, right? Like, that self-doubt and that imposter syndrome is real, and all artists go through it. Hands up who's one of our artists here. There's a couple. Yeah, there's a few. And I know for me, speaking and sharing my story was a journey, and it's like, who is even going to care, or who is even going to listen? And even when I stumble or make mistakes or can't even say your last name on a live earlier today, you still get up and do it, right? And I think that's part of the bravery in just being present. But these beautiful women here, I'd love for you to share just a little insight like you did personally with me this afternoon, because you know these women, you've spent intimate moments painting them, capturing their essence of resilience, resolve, determination, strength, beauty. I'd love for you to just, you know, share a little bit about each of these stories here.
Yeah, so the 4 women that are on the wall here, I have met one of these women in my life. She was actually a mother of my friend, but I'm going to start on the left. And so the first painting that we have is Cassandra, and she is absolutely incredible. So she grew up in an Aboriginal community where drugs and alcohol is very prominent, and so she grew up struggling with addiction, and she has been to rehab and has turned her life around. And she did it with not much support around her, and so I am just really honoured to share her painting and also her story. Obviously the stories are a bit longer, they're up to 2 pages, where the women share like their journey and say it in their words. So I'm very excited to share her story. And Christine is the second portrait. So Christine has been through 2 relationships of domestic violence. And even though she had a good support system around her, I've met her family, they're wonderful. They're very open, loving, and they'll do anything. And I think this just goes to show and highlight that in a domestic violence situation, that even with support, it's really hard. There's just so much turmoil that goes on in someone's head, and that's inflicted by someone else. And it's very hard to leave, and it's hard for people to understand why. So I'm very proud to paint Christine as well. And something I'd also like to add is that I've met her, and she's just the sweetest soul, and yeah, absolutely amazing. And I think that's something with these women, is that when you look at someone, you don't know what they've gone through. And so I think that's also something really exciting about this show, is to sort of pull back the layer and show that we all go through things and we're all in it together, and our struggles might be different, but you know, yeah, we're in it together. And so the third painting is Tanya. Tanya is just a trooper. So Tanya, I've actually spoke to a few times since we got connected at the start of the year, and she has helped, like her partner had an addiction with gambling, and you know, it's something that affects a lot of people, and he come to her and needed help and support and love. And the thing that I love about Tanya's story is that strength comes in many forms, and what one person would classify as strength is different to what someone else would be classifying as strength. Like someone might be like, well, why wouldn't you leave? But it's also strength to stay with someone and stand beside them. So with all these stories, there's strength portrayed in such different ways that's personal to each person. So I'm very excited to share Tanya's story as well. And Trudy, the last lady on the wall. So Trudy was actually a police officer in WA, and from working in the force for such a long time, she ended up having CPTSD and a lot of trauma and that come from her job. And unfortunately, she did not receive the support that she needed around her to help her recover, and was sort of, not cast aside, but just not supported through the things that she needed to be. So she's left the force, and now she also shares women's stories from struggle to strength as well. So These are just 4 women that are going to be at the show at the Brisbane Showgrounds. There's 30 women plus over 100 stories on display as well. So yeah, these women are just a small fraction of what's going to be at the show, and a small fraction of the women that are out there going through so many different things. So yeah.
Beautiful. And the 3 behind us here,
Oh,
she
yeah.
just brought in today, but their stories are in there. And you can see that this is pretty big, but when she showed me this one of me, I was like, wow. And I feel so honoured because I've never had anyone paint me before, and I'm so appreciative, and it's so beautiful. And I'm like, you got to keep that aside because one day I'm going to buy that. I don't know where we're going to put it, Sean, but in our new house at some point in the future. But you know, when I shared my story, and for those that don't know, I've got a beautiful little boy there, and my little redhead was here at a sleepover now. But I had 4 miscarriages in between children, and so when I submitted this story, I think when Michelle had tagged me, I didn't know I was pregnant yet. And so to share my story in different platforms, to write it down, is a really cathartic process. And it was just for me to just get it out. And the fact that, you know, Rhiannon, I gave her a couple of different other photos, but then she found this one on my Instagram. And I was like, oh, I really love that, because the photo that she painted me, I was at Sean and I were at a friend's wedding, and I was on the beach and we'd gone for a walk, and I just had a moment just on the beach, just being really grateful for my life, and actually praying and just praying for this little boy to come. Oh, I don't know if I'm getting emotional now that I'm reflecting on it. But this is the power of art, right? It just evokes emotion and feeling and story, and you know, I think Shauna just walked up ahead of me, and then I just had that moment where I was just bringing that gratitude and love and hope and faith, and I took a selfie of me doing that, because doing self-photography for myself was really healing, and my own art form. And I know some people can go, oh, I don't like taking photos of myself, but for me to witness my own growth through that art form was really healing. And I saw it as an art form because it was, you know, raw moments of me without makeup on, with makeup on, in, you know, the bathtub with my hair just all in a mess, you know. And I think beautiful Felicia and I did a self-portrait photography course with a friend of ours in India, and that really kind of opened me up to that. And the fact that you picked that photo and painted it was just really special, so thank you as well from me.
No, thank you.
And these other beautiful women, is it Sarah over here?
Yes, this is Sarah.
Gwenda. I'll get you to talk about Sarah in a moment, but beautiful Gwenda over here. She actually came to the Inspire Awards. Gorgeous Christina's here. Felicia and I met Gwenda at one of our summits last year. She flew all the way from Perth to join us last year, and then she flew all the way to come to the awards as a finalist. And she's going to fly again to be part of Rhiannon's event in November. And her story is phenomenal, where she was sharing where she almost died, but then found out she was pregnant. And there's a little bit of it over here. But Sarah, do you want to share a little bit about Sarah's story?
Yeah, so Sarah, I'm going to try not cry with this one. But so Sarah had given birth to a young boy, and as a mum, you know when something's not right with your baby, and the doctors and that wouldn't listen and take her seriously, and unfortunately Sarah's baby died. And yeah, and so Sarah has used this as a way to help other women and to make sure that the same mistakes aren't made again. And so Sarah has done a lot of advocacy for her child and for other women's children to make sure that things don't slip through the cracks again. So yeah, just what an incredible woman, honestly.
Mm. And if you want to come and support Rhiannon, November the 15th and 16th?
Yeah, so November the 15th and 16th. Yep.
And you'll get to hear about all of these stories plus more, and there's a number of us also speaking and sharing just a little snippet as we've done tonight, and it's just another way to, like you said, advocate for women's empowerment, strength, encouragement. Yeah, I'd love for you to share more about the exhibition.
Yeah, so with the exhibition, there's a few things that I'm really hoping that might come from it. And the first thing is just to simply celebrate women's strength, because I really am in awe of like just women in general. Like, I was raised by a single mum, and then, you know, her mum was a single mum, and, you know, you hear it all the time how much women struggle, especially when they're a mum. You carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. So I just definitely got distracted in my brain then. That happens sometimes. Oh yeah, thank you. Whoever did that, I might need help with it later. Yeah, so I'm hoping that women will be in awe of each other's strength at the exhibition. But I know there is also a number of women that weren't able to send in their story, whether or not they weren't ready or they didn't feel their story was valid, or for whatever reason. And every woman's story is just as valid as each other's. So I'm hoping that these women will be able to come to the exhibition, maybe be inspired to see their own strength in the stories that are at the show. So there is over 100 stories that will be at the show. So when I read all the stories that were sent in, I honestly felt connected to every single story, because it's a struggle, and the struggle is something that you can relate to. And so yeah, I'm just so incredibly proud to be able to share all these stories. And the other thing that I really hope that comes from this is I just hope that we feel less alone and more connected, because we are in it together and we go through so many similar things. And a lot of the times we don't talk about it because it's too much, or, you know, we try and be strong. But yeah, I do. I hope I feel a lot more connected from reading each other's stories.
Oh, so beautiful.
Oh,
yes,
questions.
I noticed that your portraits, nearly all of them, have some leaves in them, and I'd like to know the significance of that, please.
Yeah, so leaves for me, I can't grow plants, but leaves for me do signify growth and change and the ability to take things where we want to. So for me, it's all about like getting back that strength and taking control of our lives and growing. Yeah.
What a beautiful question. Are there any more questions if you're curious?
I'm interested to know how you perceive each of the women who have painted in such large scale, when they see it, potentially for the first time, but if they're going to then fall in love and want to take that painting, like, if every person in those 30 is like, that's my painting, like that's the one for me, do you know what I mean? Like, if you perceive that they will just fall in love with it and want it for themselves.
I mean, obviously, as a painter, that would be amazing. But the goal for this show is bigger than that for me. It's about sharing stories. So, like, if people do want to buy their paintings, that would be amazing, and I would love for them to have their portrait to, you know, celebrate their strength and see themselves every single day. But for me, this show is a lot bigger than that, and yeah, it's about telling stories and celebrating women. So.
What a big heart you have. And there's a beautiful organisation that you're also supporting. Would you like to tell us a bit about them?
Yeah, so the Women's Crisis Support Service, they have a location here in Ipswich, and I've grown up in Ipswich my whole life. And when I was leaving an ex of mine one time, I found it incredibly hard, and I had 2 kids, and all I could think was, this isn't a violent situation. There's no violence here, and yet I find this so hard. I'm so scared of so many different things, and all I could think about was all the women that are in situations where there is domestic violence and how hard that would be. So for the last, this event and the last 2 events that I've done, I paint a painting and I raffle off the painting, and all the proceeds go to the Women's Crisis Support Service, which help women and children in domestic violence situations. So, yeah.
And folks, if you would love to buy a raffle ticket, there is some beautiful QR codes there, and you'll have to wait till the actual event to see if you win. But we do have some beautiful lucky draw prizes. But if you want to support the Women Crisis
the Women's Crisis Support Service.
Yes, thank you. Then please buy some beautiful tickets to support Rhiannon and the work she does. And if you buy a ticket tonight to go in November, we get to see you again, because as Creative Hearts Co, we also decided to, when we heard Rhiannon's mission, sponsor her. And that's why we've hosted this beautiful event, because the heart of the storytelling, the mission that she had to just share these amazing stories and put herself out there and just go big and bold and take risks, like to invest in a space like that. And she's like, I'm just doing it, Marie. Oh my gosh. We were talking through this process, and the fact that, if it sells, amazing, but she's not in it for that. She's in it for the stories and for just, seeing a vision, putting it out there and just going for it. And I know that there'll be some amazing people that will fall in love with these pieces, whether it's another organisation or the women themselves. And I think that investment in yourself, in your passion, is something that I really admire, because I'm like, holy crap, I don't know if I would have been able to do that. And you have, and you've painted these women. You've still got a few more to do. So I know beautiful Flea and Cass out there that you're painting as well. But like, what a goal. And that's why we at Creative Hearts just really loved her story and wanted to support you in this way as well.
Thank you so much.
So guys, make sure you get a raffle ticket. If you do get a ticket to come and join her on the 15th and 16th of November, I think the 15th we've got the big events happening, but you'll also go away with a beautiful little gift today. So let us know if you do get a ticket, because I've got some beautiful artwork, and I think they're valued at, those pieces were $70.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those beautiful prints. You can see there's a couple up the top there. There's a whole heap over here. And let us know, and we'd love to gift you that if you have bought a ticket. Are there any other final messages that you would love to share in regards to this exhibition and what you stand for?
There is one more thing I'd like to say, and that is, when I first found out that I had bipolar and CPTSD, I was so embarrassed. I honestly thought people just seen this sign on my head like, oh my gosh, she's so crazy. But the thing is, like, the more you learn to love yourself for the things that you've been through and the strength that you've acquired through your struggles, the better things are. Because like you're saying about this risk taking, and risk taking is part of having bipolar. So I embrace the parts of me now that I thought were extra and not normal, and maybe not what everyone thought was standard. And so now I love those different things about me. So everything you've been through, it just makes you stronger and ready to face even more in your life. And I just want to say thank you very much for coming tonight and listening to me talk.
Thank you, Rhiannon.
That I just would like to thank you for your vulnerability, because it is not easy to sit in front of a group of people, some of you don't know at all, and share that vulnerability. And I think that women are being encouraged, and it adds to their strength when you share your story with them. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you everyone, also for the audience engagement and questions and beautiful comments, and you can chat more with Rhiannon